Once upon a time, in the small town of Ridgetown, lived a young boy named Cameron. Unlike other children his age, Cameron was not interested in sports or television. He was a budding scientist with an insatiable curiosity about the world. His days were spent in a makeshift lab at his home, conducting countless experiments, each one more fascinating than the last. His bright eyes sparkled with the joy of discovery, his heart filled with the thrill of the unknown. One day, Cameron found something unusual tucked away in his grandfather's dusty attic, a bundle of old, crinkled papers that outlined plans to build a UFO. The mere thought of such a possibility filled him with excitement. The papers were stamped top secret and looked as though they had been lost for a very long time. The government had once kept them safely tucked away, but now they were in the hands of the tenacious young scientist. Cameron lived close to a scrapyard owned by a friendly man named Brian, who had a hulking yet kind-hearted junkyard dog named Brutus. Cameron often visited Brian's yard to collect various bits and bobs for his numerous experiments. Gathering his courage, Cameron approached Brian about his daring plan. "Brian, I need your help," said Cameron, his voice trembling with a mix of excitement and nervousness. "I found these plans to build a UFO. I want to make it." Brian burst out laughing, slapping his knee in amusement, but seeing Cameron's determined face, he stopped. "Well, lad," he said, a smile playing on his lips, "let's see what we can find then." The scrapyard soon became Cameron's treasure trove. He salvaged wires, aluminium sheets, dials, gears, and more, taking them back to his workshop. For 6 months, he labored meticulously, tinkering and fitting the pieces together. His passion never waned, his hands tirelessly shaping the dream hidden in those lost pages. The local children often bullied Cameron for his peculiar interests, particularly a trio of boys who found his scientific pursuits weird. They laughed at his clothes and shunned his ideas, yet Cameron remained resilient, focusing on his dreams rather than their taunts. A neighbor, Jane, had been his only friend throughout. Jane appreciated Cameron's uniqueness, finding his intellect fascinating. She was overjoyed when he invited her to witness the inaugural flight of his creation. Cameron was on his way to purchase some last-minute supplies when he encountered his bullies. Their scornful words stung him, their laughter echoing in his ears. They pushed him, causing him to drop his supplies. Tearfully, he picked them up, dusted himself off, and returned home. His heart was heavy, but the anticipation of the impending flight with Jane lifted his spirits. Later that evening, Jane and Cameron clambered into the homemade UFO, their hearts fluttering with anticipation. Cameron switched on the controls, and with a soft hum, the spaceship rose, hovering above his house. The children gaped in amazement, their faces reflecting the glow of the hovering UFO. As the minutes passed, Cameron gained confidence, steering the UFO higher, flying over Ridgetown. The townsfolk watched in awe, pointing and gasping as the tiny spacecraft darted across the sky. It was a sight they would never forget. The following day was the annual school science fair. As students set up their projects on the field, whispers about Cameron's absence spread. His fascinating projects always stole the show, and this year his absence was conspicuous. Suddenly, a soft whirring sound filled the air. All heads turned skywards as Cameron's UFO descended, landing gracefully in the middle of the field. The crowd held its breath as Cameron and Jane emerged from the spaceship, their faces flushed with excitement. The trio of bullies stood dumbstruck, their mocking words swallowed by the incredible sight before them. For the first time, they saw Cameron for what he truly was, a visionary far beyond their comprehension. Their shame and regret bubbled up as they approached Cameron, asking for a ride in his spaceship. Cameron, generous and forgiving, agreed, taking them on a thrilling ride that had them pleading for mercy. The science fair ended with Cameron being hailed as the best young scientist the school had ever seen. The judges were astounded by his UFO, and word spread about the extraordinary boy from Ridgetown. In the crowd was an Air Force representative who extended an invitation to Cameron to join them as a junior aircraft engineer, making him the youngest in the country's history. Cameron's story filled Ridgetown with awe and the bullies with remorse. His triumph proved that brilliance often lies in the unexpected, in those who dare to think differently, and sometimes the weird kids end up flying their very own UFOs over the heads of those who once doubted them. As Cameron's tale spread, every child in Ridgetown learned that different was just another word for extraordinary. The end. Thank you so much for joining us for another captivating story. We are thrilled to present to you this original tale created by Kids Bedtime Stories HQ, and we hope you and your little ones thoroughly enjoyed it. If this enchanting bedtime story resonated with you, we kindly ask you to show your appreciation by giving this video a big thumbs up. Your likes have a tremendous impact on the growth of our channel, allowing us to continue crafting magical storytime experiences for families everywhere. If you haven't done so already, we invite you to subscribe to our channel. By subscribing, you'll stay up to date with our latest stories and adventures, ensuring that you never miss out on the magic. Now we have an exciting offer just for you. How about a personalized bedtime story where you and your children become the heroes of your very own magical tale? Picture me taking you on a unique adventure crafted exclusively for you. Sounds exhilarating, doesn't it? To make this extraordinary experience a reality, simply click on the link provided in the description below. Once again, we extend our heartfelt gratitude for being a part of our storytelling community. At Kids Bedtime Stories HQ, we believe that dreams can truly come true. Wishing you sweet dreams, brave adventurers, until we embark on our next journey together.